So in our life, we all have that one game that kind of defines your gaming career, right? Or your gaming career, your gaming experience, or something that you always remember. You have the biggest flashbacks as a kid. And for me, it's always been the SOCOM franchise that Sony put out years ago. And if you guys never played this, SOCOM was a tactical third-person shooter. It was one of those games that was objective based, and there's always some type of objective. You had one life. When you died, you would have to wait for that round to end, and then you would start the next round. Kind of like what you see with what you could say Rainbow Six Siege, right? It's round-based gaming, no respawns, no kinds of kill streaks like you would see in Modern Warfare. It was just pure raw gameplay, and it was amazing. And a lot of people till this day still talk about the SOCOM franchise as a whole. And there's been multiple indie developers who have tried in the past to create their version of SOCOM, and none have really been truly successful. And as technology keeps developing, the newer consoles come out, PlayStation 5 is out, every generation that comes out, players who remember this game always wonder, will SOCOM ever create a SOCOM for next gen or create the next evolution? Now, if you guys don't remember, SOCOM had multiple games. You had SOCOM US Navy SEALs, which was the very first one. I still remember getting this gift as a kid and getting the SOCOM US Navy SEAL box, and it had a headset inside. Yes, it was a box like this. And I want to say it's one of the first games that Sony really focused on pushing that was a multiplayer PvP game. And they really pushed it. It was like their first big hit. After SOCOM US Navy SEALs being such a big hit, they released SOCOM 2 US Navy SEALs. So it was the sequel, which to me might be the best one out of the SOCOM franchise. And then I would say the runner-up would most likely be SOCOM Confrontation. But after SOCOM 2, you had SOCOM 3. And I want to say that was probably the worst out of the three that had came out, right? You had SOCOM 1, SOCOM 2, both to me were really good games. SOCOM 3 just really didn't do it for me. Now, I will say they did release SOCOM Confrontation, and that one was on the PS3, and I want to say it looked the best out of all of them. Obviously, the other two had came out years before, and this one really was the one that I put a lot of time into. I really enjoyed SOCOM Confrontation. It brought back a lot of the memories from SOCOM 1 and SOCOM 2, as I really didn't enjoy SOCOM 3, but I did play it. Now, I will say, after that, they did release SOCOM 4, which I never really enjoyed. I played it a little bit, and it really got a lot of hate. A lot of people didn't enjoy it. They changed way too much, and they went away from that tactical 8v8 feel that they had in the previous games. Now, to think that many indie developers have tried to reproduce a SOCOM type game and haven't been successful might mean that there just isn't that market for this type of game. But maybe they just haven't created one that really evolved what SOCOM did so well. Now, I will say I did play Modern Warfare 2 in third person this year, and it was the closest thing that brought me back to what SOCOM offered. The big difference though is this isn't objective based game. I mean, they do have domination, but they also have kill streaks, right? You have your UAVs, you have your airstrikes, chopper gunners, you have everything that a Call of Duty has. So it was their twist on a third person, but it has been the closest thing that I've been able to experience that would be the next gen version of what SOCOM was. And I want to say a lot of people who played this, that was the first thing they said. This reminded them a lot of what SOCOM was and what SOCOM could be today. Now, there's been rumors that have popped up in the past about them creating a SOCOM 5 for PS5. Even Sony has re-trademarked SOCOM US Navy SEALs, so it means no one can use that name on a game. So they still have the name trademarked, but at the end of the day, they haven't came out with a next gen SOCOM game. I mean, the day that they do announce that could be crazy for third-person community, especially if you enjoy third-person tactical objective-based games. Remember, there are no respawns like you have in Modern Warfare. It was pure gameplay. There was maps like this that had water that you could go under. There was multiple levels. It honestly was maybe 4 shots to the body, 1 shot to the head, 2 shots to the head, but a very tactical game, right? Like you guys had objectives. There was hostage rescue, demolition, where you had to go destroy the base, destroy an objective. There was escort, where you had to escort the hostage. There was bases you had to breach to get into. There was team deathmatch, but there was nothing like respawn. And that's what made the game unique. Every life mattered, every move mattered. So you may have got like 2 kills, but you would die, then have to wait for the other team. And the closest thing that I can think of today that was actually built like for third person and was next gen has been Modern Warfare 2. The graphics look good. The movement felt pretty solid with a little bit of tweaks. It would have felt just like SOCOM. If they would have just created objective-based games, I could have seen this game being a standalone game that people would buy if it was just third person. But obviously we know that Call of Duty is a first person game. So that's their bread and butter, right? That's where they make their money. That's what people play Call of Duty for. So when Call of Duty did make a third person version called Third Person Mosh Pit, people tried it out, and the people who love third person loved it. They also created third person Warzone, and I guess that was probably to compete against something like Fortnite. And again, people loved it. But the thing is, those game modes were always limited time game modes. They were on rotation. So the problem there is, if you strictly enjoy third person, you might be a month or weeks without playing third person, right? Like Warzone, we know hasn't been back in almost 2-3 months now. So if you enjoyed the third person version of Warzone, well, you're kind of out of luck. And then I believe Mosh Pit has been back for about a month, 2 months now. I think it recently got moved out of the rotation, but hopefully they bring it back soon. But again, like I said, it just kind of sucks because, you know, if you are strictly a third person fan, which I enjoy playing both, but most of the time, if I could find a good third person shooter, I'd probably be playing it. So my hope, honestly, is one day we do truly get a third person tactical shooter game like we had in the past. Maybe Sony will one day create one, but only time will tell. But I will say that there still is a desire for this type of game, and I'm sure the reason why you have so many indie developers from time to time trying to make it is because they probably grew up either playing the game or they realized that there is a market for the game. I have to know, did you ever play any of the SOCOMs from SOCOM 1 to 2 to 3 to Confrontation, or even SOCOM 4? And if you played them, which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. I will say that SOCOM 2 was probably my favorite out of all of them, and then right after that would probably be SOCOM Confrontation. I will say SOCOM Confrontation definitely looked the best out of all of them, that stayed true to what SOCOM was. I know SOCOM 4 tried to do a lot and it just missed the mark. And then after that, that was really the last time we heard from the SOCOM franchise. But hopefully in the future, we still have a chance, and that's all we can really hope for. I'm gonna wrap this video up here, guys. And it was a pleasure sharing this with you guys. If you guys have played the game in the past, let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. I'll see you guys in the next one, but until then, hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.